Hi, this is Jennifer Leslie here. We are going to be performing a urinary catheter replacement on a male dog. We have our 6.5-month-old canine here, Gator, with us. He's in lateral recumbency. I have my 2 assistants restraining for me for this. We have our sodium chloride solution for our flush once we clean with the dilute povidone iodine, so that way we're not using a caustic solution on his penis, and we diluted it so it looks just like a very dilute tea. We have our sterile gloves. We're going to be using a 5 French rubber catheter for Gator today, since he is a little smaller. We can make sure that we get that in without traumatizing the urethra. We've got sterile lube in our collection for Gator, and it is got his name and the date on there. We also have a 6 cc syringe for the initial collection, where I'll take up about 2 to 3 cc's of urine, and then we have a 12 cc syringe for the actual collection that we'll use for our urinalysis, with a 18 gauge needle that I'll place on to insert into the vacutainer. We only need to collect about 4 cc's for our sample to run our urinalysis, so I don't need too much today. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and measure the catheter. So I am going to palpate and isolate that urinary bladder. Okay. And we got that right there for him. So we are right there with that urinary bladder. I'm going to take the tip of that catheter and place that at that top where it is, and then allow it to curve down. So we have that placement. With the tip of the penis, we will have about 2 inches left of that catheter. So once I do place, there will still be excess, because I don't want to puncture that urinary bladder. So we'll go ahead and extrude the penis so I can scrub. Thank you, assistant. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to start with the iodine and then work in a candy cane fashion. Okay. And I'm going to go around at least 3 times. Until, if after 3 times it was still dirty, I continue to go. So I've successfully cleaned that penis. Right. And then I don't know if my glove hit that one, so I'm just gonna pull in there. One more, I see. There we go. Good boy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get that sterile field settled. I'm going to put my bowls to the side. The vacutainer and the needle can be off camera because once I have the collection, it will no longer be sterile. I'm going to place this right here so we can have my assistant open that on camera. And then I've got my gloves. Just moving that since there's a little bit of that water from the scrub on there. So I'm going to get my gloves set up, and then I'll place my sterile lube and my syringes on that sterile field. so I'm gonna go ahead and get my gloves on.
Good boy. What a good boy.
Alright, so my gloves are on. We've still maintained sterility on the penis, on camera, and now we're going to go ahead and get that catheter. Alright. And then I'm just going to slowly get that out, maintain sterility, so we're good there. Now I'm going to place that in the lubricant. So we've got that tip in the sterile lube. And then I am going to place the tip of the catheter into the penis and maintain that sterility there. My right hand is going to act as the penis, so I'm just going to insert gently and straight in there. So that's the tip of the penis going into my hand. I'm just going to slide gently in there. I'm going to make sure that I do have an extra amount, right? That's still got that inch or two left. And I'm just slowly feeding that into the catheter, into the penis rather. Okay? I still have that 2 inches at the end. I'm going to take my 6 cc syringe. Remember, I'll only need to collect 2 to 3 cc's of that. So I'm going to place that on my red rubber catheter right here. So I have that placed. I'm going to go ahead and very slowly pull up that urine to make sure that I'm successfully in where I need to be and far enough, and just slowly getting that urine that I need. So I have 3 cc's. I'm going to detach, and then I'm going to grab our 12 cc syringe, and then again I only need about 4 cc's collected for our urinalysis. So that's attached, and then just slowly draw back on that. I want to make sure again I'm not going too fast in case the bladder empties before I'm prepped for that, so I don't want to cause any damage. So I'm going to go ahead and slowly pull back on that catheter, and I have 4 cc's. So I'm going to go ahead and start to gently pull out while maintaining controlling that kind of kink there. As I'm pulling out, I'm removing that catheter from the penis, so we're good as far as sterility is concerned here, because everything is still then sterile. So I'm just slowly pulling that back. So now the catheter is removed fully from the penis. We can put it back in its sheath. I no longer have to worry about any of that sterility with things because I have my collection right here. You can see that 4 cc's. I'm going to remove my glove, remove that catheter. I've got my needle and my collection tube. Remove that cap. And then as I insert my needle into the collection tube, if there were fluid in here, there would be that vacutainer effect, so the urine would be sucked into the vacutainer. In this instance, there's not, because that air is still in there. So otherwise, the plunger would go down on its own, and I wouldn't have to worry, and I would not be trying to push in that urine at all. So there we have it. Again, because position of that container is not going to work properly, but that is how you successfully collect urine on a dog using a catheter.